Oh, yeah. You're going down, sis.
No! Not again!
Ryan! Kristen! Take out the garbage!
Mom!
No!
Take out the garbage or you're grounded!
1 minute!
That's it! You're grounded!
Mom! Ran the 40-yard dash. He's the fastest linebacker in the last 50.
Alright, so hello and welcome to the Car Ride Convos Podcast, Grounded Edition. This is the first episode of the Grounded Podcast. Just switching it up a little bit, doing a little different of a format here in our cozy living room, our beautiful set. So the goal for this is just a little something different as far as we're going to try to be a tad bit more serious. Not really.
If that's even possible.
We're not great at doing that. But maybe talk about some issues that, not issues, but like topics that are a little, maybe not as lighthearted as we try to keep things in the Car Ride Convos mobile.
Mobile podcast.
The mobile
Yeah,
podcast.
the mobile podcast.
You get it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah.
We're gonna try to refine the topic a little bit. I mean, as best we can, but we do still kind of want to keep it a little broad. This one was a little bit hard to nail down. I feel like, you know.
I don't. I'm excited. Well, I guess my points of view in this are probably going to be more lighthearted anyway because.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But
so
pinpointing the name exactly, that was kind of like the difficult part.
Oh yeah, I got you. Yes.
Yeah, because we were like, oh yeah, we're gonna do it like a '90s podcast, and then we were gonna be like, and then we were like, let's do a '90s the good and the bad podcast.
Yeah.
And then from that, it just turned up, you know, growing up, the good and the bad. Because we realized how kind of we're like a hybrid generation where we were born in the late 80s, early 90s, and that kind of bled over to the early 2000s and all the things that kind of happened between then and now. And yeah, so it's kind of a broad spectrum, but yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of crazy stuff that happens growing up.
And even when we were planning this, there's things that like I don't remember, or things that like when I think about my childhood like pop up immediately, like Polly Pockets.
Yeah.
Or like anything Nerf related, or like water guns.
Yeah, toys.
Stirrup pants.
Toys, commercials for toys.
Yeah.
Maybe it was because I was paying attention back then.
Really?
But I feel like outside of... I feel like when I watch Cartoon Network, I see... like Saturday, Cartoon Network around that time, I do see toy commercials. And that really is a blast from the past.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I really don't see that much anymore. Which is really interesting compared to like the 90s where like, let's put toy commercials whenever kids watching, let's do it, you know? And yeah. It's
really any commercial kind of targeted towards children, like Fruit by the Foot. Do you remember those commercials? Or like bubblegum commercials? Like they all had that weird like, oh yeah type of thing. Like the Kool-Aid Man. Yeah. That's another great example.
I think the keyword for just like the 90s and kind of how it was themed and stuff is just like wackiness. Like wacky, like how weird and wacky can this stuff get?
Definitely.
Yeah, so I don't know. There's like one okay, outside of wacky, like a cliche that I really think is like hilarious. In every movie, a lot of the commercials someone in the family is like a crazy inventor or like a mad scientist.
Yeah, and they always have like either goggles on their head or like some type of weird like binoculars and like a lab coat with like crazy hair.
Oh
Yeah, it's so
and
weird.
I don't know. Let's see. Let me look
Crazy
this up.
inventions.
By the way, I'm not I'm not just like sitting here texting or anything like that. I don't have a laptop, so this is just how I'm rolling with it. I have that in my field notes, but you can't look up stuff on field notes. So. Yeah, I was gonna look up this before, and okay, so that checks out a little bit. Okay. Back to the Future was released in 1985. So that was kind of before, you know what I'm saying? So that set a precedent of, but if I remember correctly, which up until I had not seen a Back to the Future movie until November of 2016, I believe was the year. I was in New York City, and I was in like a hotel and stuff, and it was like one of the only things on, and I was like, never seen this before. Let's put it on. And it was like the third. I think it was the third one. No, I haven't. No, But to my knowledge, though, to my recollection, I think that's to my recollection, the mad scientist in that, he is not related to Marty. He is a friend. He's a friend of Marty's. Yeah. So. Doc. Yeah. So that kind of, but I feel like in the 90s.
That's all I will see Christopher Lloyd as is him. Like I can't watch anything.
Well, he's also hilarious, and I think he's in Piranha, like the Piranha 3D one, like one of the dumbest movies of all time.
Oh my gosh.
Man, I love dumb movies.
Or the Page Master. Do you remember that weird cartoon? He was like
that movie was not weird. That movie was amazing.
It was so creepy.
Pull up a trailer. I haven't seen that in so long.
Yikes.
Yeah, that is so awesome.
That movie was, I feel like that was kind of similar to, what is that name of that movie that's really creepy that you like? It's a cartoon.
Oh, Black Cauldron?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the Black Cauldron. I think so, yeah.
Oh my god.
Yes.
1984.
Is there the original trailer?
In the world of Richard Tyler, danger is everywhere.
Hey guys, look, it's Richie Tyler. Yeah! Hey Tyler! What's the matter? Are you afraid to jump?
20th Century Fox invites you to join Macaulay Culkin on an incredible journey into the wondrous world of the page.
Real quick. Kind of happy to hear that Macaulay Culkin's still alive. After seeing that like 80-year-old man picture that was floating around, and then he was just on Jimmy Fallon the other day.
Yeah, and I mean he's a little weird, but he's not like
he's
as
not dead. I was expecting him to drop off.
Yes, I know. I love Macaulay Culkin, and I just saw that he was on the Mark Maron podcast like a couple months ago too. So it's like
maybe he's making him
yeah. But he said something on Jimmy Fallon that I thought was really interesting. I knew he was in a band. I didn't know what type of band he was in.
Yeah.
But I guess he was a cover band. He was covering some band that they all idolized and stuff. And that band, they basically took all their songs, played their songs, and replaced a lot of the words with pizza-related words. Yeah.
That is like...
And they were called like the Pizza Underground or something. Yeah, I don't know.
That's super specific.
Seriously.
Super specific.
Master, welcome, young man.
Yes!
Need of adventure.
In a cartoon.
Your journey begins.
Who are you?
I am the Page Master. Follow me. He's in a world where imagination runs
I used to love this movie.
What are you doing grabbing me like that and messing up my pantyhose?
Unforgettable.
Yeah, it's Wiggle Bird. Yeah.
I ain't afraid of nothing. I'm afraid.
What?
Let me out of here! You battle his way through the world's greatest adventures.
Alice in Wonderland.
20,000 leagues under the sea.
Giant squid!
Moby Dick! Impossible! But before he can go back home,
A good fight!
a boy will become a hero.
So I guess I had no idea that it was based off of like really old famous novels.
I was just thinking that. I was like, I obviously had no idea what this movie was about when I was a little kid. I thought they were going on like, do they never leave this library or whatever they are? I thought they were like they went on a quest. Like they left and like.
This is like if Brandon Sanderson ever wrote a movie, this is what it'd be. This reminds me of like his style and like his sort of like what he likes as far as illustration goes and stuff. I don't know. It's funny.
This isn't a Disney movie, right?
I can look it up.
Is it a Don? It's not Don Bluth either.
I don't believe so. I'll just play the rest of it and I'll look it up.
Yes.
Starring the voices of Whoopi Goldberg,
Naturally.
Patrick Stewart, Leonard Nimoy,
Dr. Jekyll.
Frank Welker of Aladdin,
We're lucky, adventurous men.
and Christopher Lloyd as the Page Master himself.
You triumph here and always.
Experience the wonder, share the laughter, and discover the magic of the Page Master.
That's still terrifying. I feel like the 90s also had, which I don't really know. I feel like cartoons today are very, very like coded in safety and like making sure all their topics are very like neutral and upbeat and light. Like there's very little conflict. I feel like older Disney movies, for example, pretty much somebody died like right in the first like 5 seconds of the movie.
Oh yeah,
like,
Bambi's mom. And
yeah, right. I mean, Lion King. Like, I watched that probably 2 or 3 years ago, and I still like got teary-eyed at the scene when he's trying to wake up his dad after getting trampled by the wildebeests. But I don't feel like there was such a dark note. I feel like to so many Disney movies for kids, which it was kind of almost like brushed over. Like, oh, this is fine. Like, whatever. And now it's like, we have movies like Moana, Frozen. Like, I'm not saying there's not conflict in there, but it's very light and it's very like very minimal emotions. I think these are so emotionally charged for like either being really scary, really sad. Like they really kind of hit you in the face with like, I mean, look at Fievel.
Yeah.
I didn't realize like they were leaving.
Yeah.
Russia.
Yeah.
And like.
It's like a whole analogy about escaping the Nazis and and like the song "No Cats in America" is like there's no Nazis in America, but they go to America and they're like, oh no, like there's actual not necessarily Nazis because there wasn't a whole lot in America. I mean, there were, but there weren't a whole lot.
But then they had this whole uprising against the cats.
Yeah.
I mean,
and they make that creepy giant skeleton mouse thing to like scare them off. Yeah.
The secret weapon!
Yeah, exactly. The Page Master reminds me of something that I totally just forgot.
The Secret of Nim is what I was thinking.
Secret of Nim.
Maybe not, though.
It reminds me of... We're Back. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, which is also a lot scarier than I remember, too.
Yeah, that one's pretty scary, too.
Because they do, like... What does he do to them?
He turns them into monkeys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, so weird.
Very weird. Very weird. So I looked it up, and I totally forgot that at the very start of it, it was the 20th Century Fox logo. So 20th Century Fox, Warner Brothers.
Oh, okay.
But I found some interesting tidbits about it.
Yeah.
This movie is terribly reviewed.
The Page Master?
Yeah, The Page Master.
I mean, I don't think anybody knows. Every time I bring this movie up, because it's so random and it hits one of those dark notes again of my childhood, people don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And you watch movies, and it's because you had like a VHS laying around, and you're like, I guess we're watching this now, And it's like, we're like, oh, but we watched that the 4 other times you came over, and we're like, yeah, but it's like this or VeggieTales, so we're definitely watching.
So this is it.
Yeah. So, it's a 6 out of 10 on IMDb, and it has an 18% on Rotten Tomato, and Roger Ebert gave it a 1.5 out of 4. Yeah. So
That's
I mean,
pretty
it's
bad.
it's pretty bad. It's a pretty bad movie. But I mean, I'm sure they were kind of riding the coattails of. This was in '94.
I mean, to be fair, I feel like the 90s were the era of great cartoons. So, I mean, you really had a lot to compete against.
In my opinion, great child actors. Like, even... So,
Yeah,
and I
that
think
too.
what set the precedent was, like, the 80s with Stand By Me.
Yes.
And then ever since then was just killer. Now I'm sure there's a couple good ones, but I can't really think of any off the top of my head.
This is kind of when, like, Elijah Wood started being in a lot of stuff, too.
Oh, wow. So, I guess, yeah, this was towards the end. This was towards the end of Macaulay Culkin's, like...
Reign. Is it, so this is after Home Alone and stuff?
This is
He looks young
after
in this
all
movie.
the Home Alones. This is
Really?
after The Nutcracker. This is after Getting Even with Daddy. It's the Page Master in '94. Later in '94, Richie Rich came out. And then
love that movie.
he disappeared until 2003 whenever he came out with Party Monster, which is, I'm pretty sure, the movie I'm thinking of. Yeah. This one's a weird one. We're not going to get into Party Monster. That's like a whole other 3-hour-long podcast.
I don't
by
even
itself.
know what that is.
I'm pretty sure, and my brother can let me know. Not like my brother even watches this podcast. You don't watch the podcast, do you? You don't. I know you don't. You might listen. But
Oh my gosh.
I think he's seen Party Monster. And I remember talking about it. I was like, yeah, what is that all about? And he's like, it's insanity. Like, he's like, it's crazy. It's like one of those, just by the cast, you can tell like what it is. It's,
Who's in it?
well, here's the cast. Macaulay Culkin,
Mm-hmm.
Seth Green,
Oh.
Chloe Sevigny,
Mm-hmm.
Diane Scarwid,
I don't know.
and then Marilyn Manson.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, I have no idea what
Yeah, I know.
Wait, okay, maybe I can find a trailer for that, because...
Oh, I don't know. It might be not safe for work. I'm not sure.
Oh, really?
I think that's what he said, but you can look it up. We'll see. We'll see. We are allowed to edit, so it can work.
That's a thing. Oh, so sorry.
It's fine.
What's it called?
Party Monster. Trailer. Party Monster trailer.
Oh my gosh, I don't think I want to watch this.
Yeah, click on the
Oh my
first
God.
one that has the 1.1 million views. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Oh, wait a minute. Now it's all coming back to
You
me.
know what this is,
I
right?
think it's so important to begin with a bang, don't you?
One day, I
Roblox.
realized I didn't want to get up in the morning.
Go to work.
I'm Michael Allen.
King of the club kids.
I want you to teach me how to be fabulous.
Don't dream it, be it.
So it should come as no surprise that I ended up in New York City. I wanted to create my own world. One big party. You need me to promote this place.
We'll see.
You won't regret it.
You've gone too
Dylan
far with the
McDermott?
drugs.
Does it fast, and they're watching around.
Yeah, Dermot McElroy.
Paranoid.
Michael, where's my money?
Anything or anyone missing?
Angel. You should just turn yourself in.
I'm getting away with murder, and you're just jealous.
How do you support yourself?
He's a drug dealer. Don't you want to know how I got rid of the coffee?
Okay, Mr. Psycho Killer. I'll play along. You're gonna have to pay for all this.
Because of me, people know who you are. I've decided to make you my first superstar.
That was Marilyn Manson.
Yeah. Like, what is happening? That is so weird.
Wow.
Okay, now I've never seen that movie, but I remember seeing previews for it, and I distinctly remember the cover, like back in the day when You could actually go places and rent movies.
Go to a video store.
Yeah. Family Video. I love that place.
I
I remember seeing like the cover of it all the time and thinking like, this looks absolutely insane.
Yeah.
I have no idea what I just watched. That was really terrifying.
No, I know.
Yikes.
Yeah, but it was also the 90s and growing up, along with the machine that was the Macaulay Culkin child actor. I really feel like they really tried to put him in everything. Because, I mean, like, looking at his filmography and stuff like that.
Well, do you remember, like, I feel like it was such a big deal, and I don't remember the name of the movie, of course, the movie, it was like The Bad Son or something, The Good Son, you know what I'm talking about? With Elijah Wood was in it, and then he was in it. The Good Son? The Bad
Good Son? Yes, The
you know
Good Son.
The Good Son.
He plays Henry Evans in The Good Son.
But one of them dies or something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, again, such dark notes in these, like...
But, but looking at this, though, he's in Jacob's Ladder, too?
Macaulay Culkin is?
Wow. We really need to watch that, actually.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
I think that one's pretty crazy. Weird. Yeah. But from 1988 to 1994, which I believe is a span of 6 years, if I can do arithmetic correctly, Macaulay Culkin starred in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 movies.
Yeah, I mean, he was worked
14 movies in 6 years, and then he took that long 9-year break between Richie Rich and Party Monster.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it makes sense why he was so messed up.
I don't know that he's messed up, but I just know that it's not easy, I just know that I can't imagine a situation where, regardless of how talented if I ever had a kid, how talented my kid is, to where I'd be like, oh yes, I'm totally okay with you going out there and doing this.
Yeah.
Because it is a job. It is quite literally a job. It's not a talent show. You can't choose your own hours. And I don't know that a child is equipped enough to be able to deal with that. Especially within a lot of situations, the parents are the ones that are the guardian over the finances. And there's all these kids that are like, millions of my dollars were taken from my parents and spent on really dumb stuff. And so I just don't...
Well, it's such a weird world, I feel like, for kids to have to grow up in, like... I don't really know necessarily because I was a kid too and, wasn't aware of this at the time. But just, like, the Stranger Kids things, for example. And how they're,
the Stranger Things
like,
kids?
Yeah, how they're, like, almost being sexualized. And even the way that, like, they're portrayed on, like, magazine covers or, like, during photo shoots. Like, it's just... They're not children. Like, they're stylized in a way that's very adult. Like... Yeah. Obviously, some of the conversation surrounding them is very adult and very weird, and it's weird that you almost have to remind people, like, these kids are like 12, 14-ish.
Yeah, I'd say they're 12 to 15 years old.
Yeah.
And they're treated like they're 28
right.
years old.
I mean, I can't imagine how it would just. As a parent, I feel like, how do you even find the line between that? Because after you kind of put your kids out there, and if they make it. You have no control over anything. Like, you're in the public eye, all privacy is pretty much out the window. Like, anything kind of goes. Like, you don't really have any control over...
Exactly.
I don't know, the conversation surrounding your... Like, I don't know. It's just... It's a weird phenomenon.
And just remember, everybody, we're not parents, but we're experts. So.
No, I never said that.
I just realized that. Yeah, that one's off. Did that for nothing.
Is it really? It's off already?
Yeah, it does that sometimes. Yeah, but it was a time of great wackiness, good child actors. Other stuff. Everything was just so, like, radical and, like, weird, dude. Like, everything was just, like, everything was shot on a fisheye lens.
Yeah.
And everybody would just get up in their face like, whoa, what's up, kids?
Look, remember like Gak?
Yeah,
like
Gak.
Everything was just so over the top and like gross, and they always had these like dorky or like big and disgusting like moms or like even moms portrayed by men in commercials.
Yeah, oh yeah,
and we're like, oh, kids.
Yeah,
it was just so weird.
And then like the Nickelodeon Slime Awards.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Gonna get slime, man.
Yeah,
it's like,
so
it's such a weird time to be alive. I know. There's a lot of like idolizing the 80s and stuff, and how like, I mean, first of all, like, we know why you're idolizing the 80s. You're all high on cocaine. We get it. I mean, the 90s didn't have it quite like the 80s and late 70s did. Well, 70s, I don't know. It's kind of hard in there. It's hard to decipher what exactly went on because the amount of drugs between the 60s and the 80s. But in there is just like an amalgam of marijuana and cocaine and crack and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just like, and then out the other side was just like, the 90s were just absolute weirdness. Like, that was what attracted everybody.
Yeah.
And what reminds me, what like is so vivid in my mind is the the crazy 90s commercials.
Yes.
Those are there's so many out there, so many memorable ones. They're all so weird.
Yeah.
And it's clear because they were all trying to sell to kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like we found this like the other night, and we watched it, and it is so random. First of all, it's like let's take the time to acknowledge how hilarious that the title is called 90s Commercials Cringe Compilation.
Yeah.
The 90s of cringe.
Yeah, and it's 10 minutes of commercials.
10 minutes. Oh yeah, and there'll be some memorable ones in here. We watched it. We're like, oh yeah, I totally remember this. Yeah, let's call a break. We're gonna be right back with this. We're gonna lead into. We're gonna watch the whole first commercial straight, no interruption, and then subsequently we'll be doing some.
Commentary.
I gotta look at this camera now because this one's not.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah. No, but this is the Car Ride Convos Grounded podcast, and we'll be right back. Short little break, wasn't too long, and we are going to jump into this commercial.
Let's do it.
Let's do the first one, just right all the way through, and we'll just
Look at this. Cool things happen when you start the day with Kellogg's Pop-Tarts. So cool. They're hot, so hot. The hot taste of real fruit filling inside, and cool frosting on the outside. Real hot, 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 hot. The cool hot part of this complete breakfast. So cool. They're hot, so hot. Thank you.
Oh my god. Okay. Why does it have to be cool?
Do that, everybody? Pop-Tarts are cool.
But they're hot.
Yeah, they're hot.
Look at this cool frosting on the outside.
Such a weird marketing tactic.
And why did the mannequin girls so you'll get girlfriends if you eat Pop-Tarts?
Well, they're mannequins, so you're gonna get mannequin girlfriends.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my god. That was so weird.
But that was like.
I remember that commercial though.
Pretty standard.
Pretty standard.
I remember that commercial. I don't remember that Pop-Tart box design though. I guess to a certain degree memory is pretty selective.
Yeah.
But I don't really remember.
You know what I think is so funny is that Pop-Tarts never photographed well. They're ugly in person. They're ugly in commercials. They're always ugly.
Yeah. Let's be for real though, guys. Pop-Tarts are breakfast ravioli. Let us know in the comments. Breakfast ravioli?
What?
It is.
It is. All right.
More on that later.
Working here.
Oh, man.
God.
Yes. Without Duracell batteries.
I made these special just for...
Guess not. The cover Hey, yo, check this out. What are you doing? You're offering drugs. Beat it! Drug free's the way to be.
Oh, man.
Attention Pokemon fans, get ready for Pokemon Live at the Fox Theater. Now you can be there as all your favorite characters come to life in this on-stage musical adventure. It's the only place to see a brand new Pokemon with amazing powers. You can meet Brock, Misty, Ash, and of course Pikachu as the action hits the stage at the Fox Theater. You want to catch them all? Gotta catch it live.
Here, pause it quick.
I did not know that they ever did that. Seems horrible.
We grew up in kind of like a small-ish town a little bit. Like it was only like 130,000 people. So I understand that maybe like it didn't make it to our city.
Did you guys never do? But this was like in the Chicago suburbs. Like, did you guys never go to Disney on Ice or anything? Like I've been to that once.
No, my mom just bought me for my birthday tickets to the Harlem Globetrotters. And that's the one thing that I always wanted to do as a kid, but we never had any money to go. Yeah,
me too.
And also they were on Sundays sometimes, I think, so it was during church. So there was that element too. But we were never able to. So yeah, we never went to Disney on Ice or anything like that. Which is fine. I mean, I feel like I didn't really miss out, on anything too much as a kid. I mean, especially that.
Yeah, that was like a mess. Just a
because you know what's better than Pokemon? Pokemon Live.
Musical version.
Hopefully Pikachu sings the Pikachu song.
Yes.
Everybody knows the Pikachu song. No, nobody ever.
Hi, creepy. Oh, okay.
Alright, well.
Alright, here we go.
Potty baby, your body's time. It's potty training time. I help you with your training dance, you make me so proud. Potty feels like magic and it flushes out loud.
Some water.
To help Magic Potty Baby learn to use her potty. Flush and you're ready for next time.
Magic Potty Baby, I'm so glad that you're mine.
Sound up. Real quick. Oh, I remember this one too.
Yeah.
Not sure why that was such a big thing in the 90s too, is that there was, because I didn't have that one, but Aaron had one that actually was a baby alive or some type of like something where you would mix these powder packets and put it in the baby's bottle, and the baby would drink this yellow liquid, and it's like it was juice, but then it came out also looking like urine, and you had diapers and it would like actually wet itself. Like, why was that of all the things you want the baby to do? But I guess little girls want to change diapers, but that seemed like there was like a weird obsession with like, oh, potty training. Oh, that's a cool toy.
To me, just me watching that, it seems just mildly inappropriate. I don't know why. I don't like the idea of.
The whole gimmick with that toy is body fluids. Like, that's weird.
Yeah, but I don't like the idea of body fluids defecating. I really just think that that's just so. I think that. That's just like a really weird look for humanity. I think that's very bizarre, and I really can't pinpoint it, but I find it, I'm not like one of those people that's like, oh, this is just reinforcing gender stereotypes and making them learn to take care of children. No, but like, it is weird though, in that like, we're raising our baby kids to be parents, and it's like,
I don't know.
There's something so strange with that. I don't, and I can't pinpoint it. I can't put it into words.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments. Why is it wrong for children, for toy children, to defecate?
Yeah, but she was voiding. That peeing's voiding. Defecating is
I thought defecation could be both.
deaf, not deaf.
Deaf. Sorry.
Defecation.
Defecation. Let me look it up. I don't think
think
you're
so.
right. I don't think you're right. Let's see.
Defecating, I'm pretty sure is pooping.
I thought it was both. Defecation.
Where are we going with this podcast?
Well, what's feces?
Poop.
Is it just that?
Yeah. Feces is poop. Urine.
The discharge of feces from the body.
Defecation?
Yeah.
Yes. That's
But they
what I
didn't.
said.
They weren't like particular. What is feces?
Voiding is peeing. That's
Here you
what I'm
go.
telling you.
Here you go. Feces is waste matter discharged from the bowels after food has been digested. Semicolon. Excrement.
Well, that's good. That's good. I think we're good.
Pee can come from the bowels.
Pee can come from the bowels.
Remember,
Okay,
everybody,
the more
this is
you
the
know.
serious podcast.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Moving right along.
Sound off! XP90 Pulse Bar! Hear the sound of the super soaker XP90 Pulse Bar with pulsating action that delivers satisfaction! Or switch to a constant stream, cool, clear color bottle too. Sound off! Sound off! I can't hear you! XP90 Pulse Bar! Super soaker XP90 Pulse Bar!
How many lines of coke did that guy do before?
Oh, I don't know. They were like, "Hey, dude, we need to in that scene in Pulp Fiction where she like slams like the it's a cliche thing and it's not how you do it, but the
epinephrine.
the epinephrine, the EpiPen or whatever, in her heart or her chest or whatever.
Yeah.
That dude, they were like, "Hey, you need to get like 8 of these in you right now and just hype it out there." Like, and he's just like going crazy. But another weird thing, again, I'm not the weird guy about the gender stereotypes thing, but sergeant, a sergeant like master guy or whatever, where he's like, "You want a water pistol? You're in the army now." It's like, what? Come on, boys, girls. Like, it's like, what?
No, there were no girls in that commercial.
I think there was one. I think I saw one.
Was there?
There was one. Like one of the.
There was no girls in the. There was no boys in the.
Yeah, but that's.
Peeing baby doll.
But that's so much more. That's a little bit of that's harder to swing back then than vice versa.
Yeah.
Back then,
Which
I think
is weird.
I think
why is taking care of a baby like whatever? I don't know.
We all know those dads. We know those dads who don't wake up with the kids and they're like, "Hey, my job's to go to work.
Yeah.
You take care of the kids."
We're gonna get in so much trouble for even talking about parents at all because we don't have children.
I think that's probably like 90% of the reason why a lot of people they just turn it off. They're like, "I just can't even listen to this anymore." We're not
these millennials talking about.
I mean, okay, we're just take it as speculation. I mean, really. I mean, we're just kind of throwing things out there how we perceive the world. We're completely right.
Yeah,
but,
let's be serious. They exist.
But what I was gonna say is, it's harder to swing back then, and the whole tomboy term, completely accepted term. It was something that was, I think in the 50s and 60s they kind of had a hard time, like, you don't be that tomboy. You don't go play with the boys. You learn how to use an oven or something. I don't know. What were they doing in the 50s? Actually, they were like microwaving stuff back then. That's where those reheatable meals and stuff, manufactured food became a thing.
Yeah.
But I would say back then, late 70s, 80s, 90s, tomboy was a completely accepted, personality type for a female,
Yeah.
I would not say that effeminate male was something that...
That's true. I mean, I feel like we should look up commercials of what's on toy commercials of today, too. Because I don't think... I mean, even like a Barbie commercial or like a Bratz doll commercial, I don't think there's boys in them.
Yeah, I used to go over to a friend's house and play Barbies and play with Barbies and stuff like that. I didn't really think it was too weird. But it wasn't super far removed from what I played with though, because I played with G.I. Joes, like the big Barbie doll size G.I. Joes. and he had his like, he had a what's it called? I always want to call it a rail gun. It's not called a rail gun because a rail gun is electronic, but it has a saw. I had like a saw.
G.I. Joe?
Yeah, I had a saw, like the ones in like you see in like Vietnam footage where they have like the string of ammo and you just like you feed it through the saw or whatever. And I think it's in Predator 2, not Predator 2, but the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
He's just like, which is like he's firing it with like one arm and it's cocked in between here. I don't think that's possible because that gun is super heavy and super big, and he's like feeding it. He's like, oh yeah, it's like all this crazy stuff. But yeah, I had like that gun, which looking back is like so strange because I grew up and I was like, my parents were like, wait, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I was like, a Green Beret. It's like, what?
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
Oh,
yeah, next one.
If you are a goldfish, you swim around a bowl eating soggy fish flakes. You don't like fish flakes tough. You don't get a choice, but you do because you're a kid. So you can go to Burger King. No mustard, no prop. You don't like choices, be a goldfish. You want it your way, you can go to Burger King.
Now it's time for the Pizza Head Show.
Hey, everybody!
So, weird thing about that and the Duracell commercial. Kids changing into animals and people that were animatronic battery-powered or like toys.
Yeah.
That was like kind of normal. That was normal place as far as like the marketing goes, which was the Duracell commercial. That is a creepy commercial.
And I remember that one creeping me out every time I saw it because I remember that very distinctly. Because that was one like a repeated theme. Like I think there's a couple different ones of that.
Yeah, where people run out of
family.
batteries. Because there's like the whole analogy like, oh, he's tired, he's run out of batteries. It's like, okay, great. This is like a little bit on the nose. Can we,
I think it's just terrifying because their like facial expressions are all like, like just
And then and I know this movie didn't come out for like forever, but that Santa Claus movie where there's like the clone toys version.
That's what he reminds me of.
Yeah.
And I never put it together.
Yeah, the Santa Claus, was it the second one?
2, yeah.
Yeah, Santa Claus 2, if you guys remember, had
Tim Allen,
and he cloned himself, but like it was a toy machine cloner or something, and so this like weird like plasticky version of himself came out or something.
Yeah, and he like takes over and becomes like this like crazy.
Yeah, I don't know.
But he looks very much like that. That's very funny.
And that I don't think that one came out that was probably in at least the mid 2000s, like 2006. I want to say that movie came out, or.
Probably.
We'll look it up. We have the power of the internet where we can fact check ourselves now, so that's kind of important.
I remember like there was a huge gap of time from like the first Santa Claus to the next one.
Oh yeah, because so the first one was in 1994. The second one was in 2002. 2002, that's kind of running a lot closer than I thought, because that commercial, the Duracell one, probably came out in 97. That looks like something very 97, 98.
Yeah.
So that's not too bad. But yeah, that was like a weird... I don't know, because it's like their marketing tactics were to do these things to get kids' attention, I guess, right? And yet, you talk to any millennial or anybody that grew up in the time frame that we did, we were all scared. We were like, oh, what are you talking about? Like, that's the scariest thing in the world. Like,
yeah, I know.
Oh, animatronic Chuck E. Cheese things, and it's like... Oh, this is another one. Let's play this. There's a great point to be made at this.
Buddy, I'm done trick-or-treating, and now I'm gonna go for a stuffed crust pizza at Pizza Hut. Yay!
Not yet, Pizza Head. There's one more place to go.
Well, I don't think anyone's home.
Sure there is.
Oh, trick-or-treat! Hope you stay right limits on this game.
Quick, Pizza Head, let's go upstairs.
Hey, who lives here anyway?
It's your host, Count Steve.
Oh, that's crazy, guys. I want a pizza now!
The Count will be happy to give you a lift. See you next time.
So we can acknowledge that was just like a complete Mr. Bill ripoff.
I mean, is that the same? Did the same people make that?
I don't know. I mean, that's Mr. Bill. you know,
and like Mr. Bill is carried around by a hand too, right? Like, that's how that one goes too, right, or not?
Maybe. I don't really remember.
I mean, totally though. He's He
gets carried away
or whatever in every single.
And he almost gets the pumpkin almost drops on him while he's inside the Pizza Hut and stuff.
Mr. Bill might be a little bit more like gory or whatever.
Yeah.
He, like, smashed and stuff. And, like,
yeah, something like that.
But still, yeah, same premise, which is weird.
Exactly, same premise. But yeah, and I might be wrong. You know, change my view if I'm not on this.
Got it.
No other time in history lived up Halloween like the 90s, early 2000s, right? Like like as far as commercialization of Halloween, would you find that to be true or false or?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like in the early 2000s, I think like not Nickelodeon, maybe like the Disney Channel, they almost do kind of similar to like what ABC Family does, like the 25 Days of Christmas or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think they show like Halloween movies. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like Halloween has always kind of been like a big kid thing. Like,
well, I don't know. I just feel like I remember
maybe
back then all these especially fast food places were doing Halloween commercials and stuff. And I remember I got a Happy Meal one time from McDonald's.
Yeah.
And which was pretty rare, getting a Happy Meal from McDonald's for me. But we got this like cartoon, and it was made by McDonald's, and it was like Halloween. It was Halloween themed.
Yeah. I think the thing about that probably is more along the lines of today. I don't think fast food is as like big of a thing, and it's not as pushed as it used to be because people know that it's not healthy. And I kind of think that the genre of like the fast food that we know is kind of going to be dying out soon. So I think that's why it's probably not as much like, it's almost frowned upon if you're like targeting to kids and like you want a Happy Meal and you want French fries. Like McDonald's commercials are not like that at all anymore.
No.
So, like, how many did we see or grow up with that were all like the Burger King one we saw? Like, you can have it your way at Burger King, and like totally targeted towards children. I haven't seen a McDonald's or Burger King commercial recently that has.
It's weird because watching that commercial, the Burger King one, and they're like, "Have it your way, you picky little eater," and it's like, and I was like, oh, okay, well, that's kind of, I was a little bit of a picky eater. Most kids I knew growing up were, they're like, I don't want the onions, Mom, you know, like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it's right at me, right? Well, I watch McDonald's commercials now, and I feel like they're still targeted at me specifically. They're going the route to be like, have our amazing, you know, mac sauce on an artisanal roll, and like very like trying to like make it like super hipster, and like they pretty much do everything except for like, you know, of course it's not farm to table, it's like machine killing floor to table.
Okay.
Meat grinder to table.
We're not gonna hit that note on today's podcast. But I get it.
Yeah, so I just find it very weird that somehow at both points in time they're both talking to me as like a consumer. But you are completely right, and I really feel like if it wasn't for the recession, I feel like that these places would have been in trouble. They'd be on their way out because people are like, oh yeah, people don't eat at McDonald's anymore. I remember during the recession, that was exclusively where I would eat if I went out.
Well, because every place pretty much had the dollar menu. I mean, you could buy food for super cheap.
Yeah, you can't beat it when you're out. You really can't. That was in the recession, was during the $5 footlong era for Subway, and then the 5 for $5.95 at Arby's. Yeah. So you had all these really great deals, and you really couldn't beat that stuff. And I feel like if the recession did not happen, oh boy, would a lot of them be in trouble, because we go out now, and it's not like, you know, we eat McDonald's every, you know, rare once in a while, but you know what? If we have an option to pay a couple extra dollars, we're going to go to Five Guys. We're going to go to Chipotle. We're going to go to, you know, what I kind of feel like that those are the thriving at that price point.
Well, I don't think I don't feel like some fast food places are really not like the cheapest option.
No,
anymore.
not anymore. Not anymore. And it has to do with a lot of the fact that they're just not getting business like they used
Right,
to. So
yeah.
they have to,
Yeah.
you know, they have to push higher margins and stuff like that.
Right.
As opposed to back in the day, they could run those thinner margins.
Mhm.
And they're like, well, we're going to sell 30,000 things off the dollar menu today.
Right.
So we're going to kill it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? As opposed
Yeah.
to now, they're like, you know, kind of uncertain. I don't know. Sometimes
Yeah.
all I know is there's going to be 30 people that are going to come in asking for ice cream, and that machine is going to be broken.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Story of my life.
Seriously, man. I get it. I've cleaned ice cream machines before. I know it's hard. I get it. But supposedly they say it takes 12 hours or something like that for them to clean. I remember being able to do our machines in like 3 hours, something like that. So, I don't know. Maybe they're made differently.
Did you guys do it the same time every single day?
Yes, same time every single day, and it was at the end. It was at the end of our shift, right? So, so it closed up at like 11. Here's the deal with McDonald's: they never close.
Right, so they have
yet the Food and Drug Administration, food safety, whatever. I don't remember what government agency over on. They're like, yo, you need to clean these things, even though you're still open during this time of day.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why they wouldn't choose breakfast as the time. But supposedly they said that the timeline doesn't add up to where they actually have to do it in between prime hours at some point. I'm like, this makes sense. That seems like a good time to do it during breakfast. Who's going to be... I don't know.
McDonald's, get on that.
Yeah,
Breakfast
I
time.
don't know. Let me know, McDonald's. Let me know. Let me know what's up.
Let me know, bro.
Fix it for that bigger lip.
That was another thing that was so popular in the 90s is talking animals.
Yeah.
Like the whole Taco Bell dog.
Yeah.
These weird things.
Yeah, Milo and Otis, the movie. No. No, yeah, but
what
like...
does that even mean?
What was the evolution of that commercial? That went from like... Oh, man.
Like he wants more, so he's like a woodpecker pecking on the popsicle stick? What does that even mean?
Man, I have no idea.
So many of these are just, it's just like, the theme is, whoa! It doesn't have to make sense at all. It's just crazy, wacky!
Yeah, and like it ends here with its animation. You know? It's like, whoa.
Right.
What is going on, man?
It doesn't make any sense.
I don't know.
But it's loud and in your face, and I think this was probably right in the beginning of, I mean, look at how the cartoons are nowadays. Like, they're scary, overstimulated, you know what I mean? Or even just the scary movie thing, how we had talked about before, you know, in our other podcast, but the whole jump scare thing. Like, so many scary movies are, like, totally oversaturated with, like, in your face, like, intense, all this stuff. Like, just, it's too much. It's overstimulated because people are, you know, constantly on their phones while they're watching a movie, while they're trying to do this. Like, you have so many screens and so many outlets of stimulation coming at you that I feel like we're so desensitized.
Yeah.
So they go to these things like, well, we're going to, like, go even bigger and, like, more over the top.
Yeah.
And I feel like this was probably right on the cusp of, like, realizing, like, oh, the kids needed to be loud and wacky and get their attention if they're, like, sitting and playing. Like, you're going to notice this commercial.
Exactly.
And it's just weird, though, because it doesn't have a direction.
No, it's totally weird. I don't understand the evolution. It goes from he licks the pop, and then all of a sudden one crashes down into his room.
It's because
he licks
called, like,
it again.
The big lick or something. The big...
Yeah, something. That doesn't sound good. The big lick. He licks it again and then it's gone.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to the product, you know,
and then
what it looks like, and then it cuts back and he's hitting it like a woodpecker.
Yeah. I don't...
The child becomes a woodpecker in this commercial, and then the dog goes, what are you doing, you numbskull? You know, it's like, whoa.
Because, I don't know, it's all weird.
It makes zero sense.
It's
so very strange.
But look, it's so cool. It's frozen.
It's so cool. It's frozen.
Everything
is so cool.
It's so cool.
It's like the rebirth of groovy almost.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was Happy Days time, and I don't remember when was Happy Days. Was that 70s or was that 80s?
I think maybe late 70s.
Late 70s. Yeah.
I don't know.
See, I don't know.
Like 70s, early 80s.
We can actually fact check on this podcast, so we can actually see.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Happy Days. Set in Milwaukee in the 1950s and 1960s, but that's when it's set. It first aired in 1974 until September 1984.
Oh, okay, so sort of.
So maybe, I don't know, maybe instead of the rebirth of Groovy, maybe it was just a continuation of that, because I just feel like that's like from 84 until, you know, 10 years, 12 years, 13, 15 years later, something like that. I just don't see that as like that's how quickly things rebirth, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I don't know, as opposed to like you said with modern day cartoons, how they're kind of a little dark now, I feel like there's some pretty edgy comedy in children's cartoons now.
On TV though, that's what I find weird. Like I feel like Cartoon Network, I don't really know about Nickelodeon. I feel like I've probably seen a lot more Cartoon Network. Like some of the stuff on Cartoon Network just blows my mind at how it's like, it's too intense. Like it's all very intense. It's all overstimulated, and the cartoons themselves, like the actual like presentation of the stylized world that these cartoons live in, is abrasive.
Yeah.
For lack of a better word, it's just, I don't know.
I have a hard time pinning it down, to be honest, when it comes to Cartoon Network specifically. I'm like, this might be for adults.
Well, that too. I feel like.
And I don't know. I have no idea why.
It's just intense. It's really intense. There's a lot of screaming. There's a lot of explosions. There's a lot of like fake death. There's a lot of fighting. It's just very graphic.
I feel like I've even seen some edgy like suicide jokes in kids' cartoons.
There's a lot of like
dark death humor, gallows humor, and stuff.
Yeah. There's a lot of adult jokes that are not super obvious that kids probably wouldn't figure it out. But if you're like, you know, an adult and you watch it, you're like, whoa.
No, I
don't know. They're almost. I feel like they're kind of like playing this fine line of like trying to be entertaining to kids as well as maybe people our age who, you know, grew up in the 90s and like loved cartoons and kind of almost trying to like entertain us as well, which is turning into this very weird mosh of content.
No, I
which is just scary because it's not appropriate for kids, but I don't think it's quite on the edge of entertaining adults.
Yeah.
But it's like trying to find
line
of, you know what I mean?
It's strange, and I don't really know. I do a bad job of watching things now because I don't think of the audience that it's, you know, for necessarily, which is probably not good. I just realized that we've made it 3 minutes into this 10-minute long video.
We're not gonna watch all these.
No, we're not gonna. Yeah, but it's just like so much commentary, so much. But we're gonna go back to break for a little bit. And we're gonna follow up with, I think, like our next segment as we slowly get darker and darker into the abyss that is growing up. We are going to talk about kind of like the freaky era of PBS, right? Yeah, that's coming up next. You don't want to miss out. And we'll be right back.
This video we're going to look at, and it's gonna get weird. So, not sure how many of you guys grew up on like PBS videos and specials and stuff. Like,
I avoided them like the plague because I knew how freaky they were growing up.
I watched like Cats on PBS. I don't know if anybody else watched those specials where like, and then if you pledge so much money, you'd get like this gift, and then it was this much money, you get this gift. You'd get like a VHS copy of Cats, or you know, whatever. Like it was just like those. They had all these like 20-minute breaks and whatever. Anyway.
Because even Mr. Rogers, that most wholesome show, was kind of, there were some parts that were kind of a little bit weird and creepy.
It had this very gray color. This is a little intense, but very like muted colors, muted. It was just weird. It was just all
animal
weird.
Costumes were pretty. Yeah.
This is gonna get freaky.
Yeah.
So
what is it called?
This is called The Tailor of Gloucester.
Okay.
My older sister Erin and I grew up watching this, and Erin, please tell me in the comments, because I honestly do not remember why we even saw this. I mean, it probably was just on PBS one day, and we watched it multiple times. I don't remember if maybe we had like a taping of it, that's why we could see it. I don't even remember.
Yeah.
So Erin, please refresh my memory, because this is just freaky. Anyway, we've talked about this forever, and she just happened to find this on a random website, so here we are.
Yeah.
So weird. We just realized that this is Bilbo Baggins. I don't know.
Nice little tidbit. Bilbo's in it.
Bilbo's in it.
Don't remember his actor name? I don't know. Actually,
his actor name, his real name, you mean?
His real name.
His
the actor's name. Yeah, because we should know it, because...
And she said there's somebody else in here that's, like somebody I should know. So I.
This is not the one? This is not the guy?
No, she said, I don't know where my phone is. It's okay.
Ian Holm.
Oh, maybe she said this is him, and then she said
there's one more
there's
person.
some other person, so don't spoil it until you actually watch it to see if you can figure out who it is. The servant or something like that? I don't know. So, anyway, this is just another weird snippet into the childhood that I had, and I'm sure nobody knows what this is, but it's...
We're going to watch it anyway. Not the whole thing. We're going to watch a lot of it. Not a lot of it.
Hopefully the next couple minutes at least show... He had these weird little fingerless gloves that...
Whoa.
Just...
It's like a real biker gang.
I don't know. There's just so many weird things in this that remind me of it. Alright. Here we go.
19 inches round the neck, 45 round the chest, 20 guineas. Just more than I earned in a whole year. This work shall be my finest.
Those are not animation.
Nope, those are people in mice costumes. Oh god, this is weird. So he's like a tailor, and the mice helped him make stuff or something? I'm sure the actual story is probably a classic story, but this is just a weird... Oh, this is so weird.
Oh my goodness, no. Goodness. They're not blind, they're blindfolded. What the?
As a cat, like, haunts my dreams. Like, this is so weird.
This is nightmare for me.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, this is...
I mean, he's a grown man. Like,
this is a grown man dressed like a cat. Did he kill them just now when he went like this?
I think he was trying to. He might have gotten one. I don't know.
He seems like he seems like he's full now, and they seem pretty depressed about that.
He probably ate one.
While the scraps of cloth and cherry-coloured corded silk gathered round his...
You British people really need to calm down. Oh my goodness, this is some weird stuff.
Great soft flakes of it. Even his candles were not enough for the tailor's tired old eyes.
20 holes? Oh, let's see.
The music is so creepy in the background.
No, it's
It's so weird.
Oh. It's cherry-colored silken twist, but I wore it to a run in the night to catch a cold. Oh. Thank God it may not turn to a fever.
The heavy reverb on a lot of the way that the vocal singing is just makes it so freaky.
Yeah, it's like super eerie.
Yeah. It's like walking into like a huge cathedral at night and someone's singing over in the corner or something.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
I have work enough for a whole week.
What? Like the whole rhythm of this is so distinct to me, and it's weirding me out watching it.
Our tailor did not live in his shop. No one lived there at night except for the little brown mice, and they run in and out without any keys.
And that weird cat.
Yeah.
He slept at night in his lodges in College Court, next to the lawyer in College Green. Oh, silly. He was also very fond of mice, so he gave them no satin for a coat.
We shall make our fortune. But I won't unravel him, for I have no more twist. Not in my usual health. I have a fever coming on. The boat's sinking. Take this groat, which is our last 4 pence. And sinking, take this china pitching. It's a penny for milk, a penny for bread, and a penny for sausage, yeah? And sinking, with the last penny of our groat, buy me a penneth, a cherry-coloured silken twist, so that I may finish Mayor Rackster's coat. And lose not the last penny, or I am undone and worn for thread paper, for I have no
in the
more
world?
twist. Think, 20 guineas, and you shall be a rich merchant. Milk twice a day. Oh, come on, Sinkin. I'm not in good health, I have a fever.
He put a coat on the cat.
And he's sending her to go do chores for him.
That's so weird, man.
I want to see his servant. I want to know who this other person is. I just don't know when he comes. He's like delirious though from his fever, which is weird. Makes it all that much weirder.
That's pretty accurate for the 1600s, 1700s era, though.
Yeah.
Does he not know about the mice?
I don't know.
Oh my goodness, this is so weird.
I'm curious. And the pocket holes are set about with thread of gold embroidered.
That did not faze him one bit.
He probably has a fever of like 105 and he's just his nuts.
Yeah.
His brain is boiling.
This is awful strange.
He doesn't seem to care that these mice have colonial clothes on.
No, he doesn't care.
This is so weird.
There's a cult that exists for this. There's gotta be. This is so weird.
It's so much scarier than that. He just watches that and he thinks it's fun.
I guess.
Now they're doing like ballet.
This is so weird for me. I don't know. This is like this.
My childhood was terrifying.
This is what I avoided in my childhood. Stuff like this.
Yeah.
This stuff is against the laws of nature. It's Christmas now?
I think it's like around Christmas time. Stop.
worst acting ever. He was trying to pretend to fall asleep. He's like...
Mice too, she's like, oh, big up huge eyes.
Sick kid. Today's Wednesday, the man is to be married this Saturday. I cannot finish the coat without the last piece clean.
Now he's like
Jeez.
losing his mind. The cat's
My
back.
twist thinking.
Did he get the sausage and the milk?
Yeah.
And he did. Ugh. What is he up
so
to?
creepy.
What is he doing? Oh man.
Yeah, this stuff, I mean, this is it's a fever dream. It's terrifying.
It is.
3 days and so much work.
This is the type of stuff I think about when I'm sleeping. I wake up just rolling with sweat.
Yeah. I want to see the servant boy. I don't know when he comes though.
Don't put money on who it is.
Yeah, who's he?
Obviously a young British boy, probably.
Yeah. This guy looks familiar to me too.
He's probably from Game of Thrones or something. I want to look it up, but I don't want to give away that the servant boy. I don't really want to give that away.
I don't even know what he looks like.
So the tailor took to his bed, sick in body and troubled in his mind. Yet but 2 days left to
It
finish
sounds
the
like
work.
troubled
Another
indeed.
assistant to be shot.
Troubled indeed.
No twist to finish the work. And he himself in a tall way.
I remember specifically that thing on his head. Right, weird things about this.
What's the thing on his head? What is that?
It's just like this.
Keep them waiting, Mr. Pritchard. You can do it all. Make haste, man, make haste.
Now you need a well, Mr. Taylor. All Gloucester will be there, and the county too.
And the county too.
Is that him, maybe?
I don't know, maybe. It's just like this weird, like, rag hat thing that, I don't know. Ooh.
Is he eating all the sausage?
I don't know.
Who is that?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out.
Waiting for old Bill Lowe, like,
Christmas Eve. Monday left to stitch the coat.
It's just like lurking in the background. No.
there's so much wrong with this. On
Yeah.
so many levels.
Yeah.
This is Jerry Colored Silver first. Cut my two.
What's that thing?
I don't know. Has some significance though.
I know, I don't remember what it is.
Oh, ew. Oh, no. Ugh. So, is it purposely weird or is it intentionally weird? Like, that's the thing.
I think it's like a musical. Like, I think it's supposed to be theatrical.
With, like, reverb, like, cranked to 30.
It's Foxtrot. Now, where can he be? He knows that the man is getting married tomorrow. What's got into the man? How shall I explain to his worship? Never trust a tailor.
Maybe.
That's Jude Law, isn't it?
Tack on your tongue.
Is it really? Let me see.
Maybe he works at home, man.
No, Taylor works at home.
Maybe.
They need their
Can you look it up?
paraphernalia.
Yeah.
Jude
That's
Law?
my guess.
You think it's Jude Law?
His facial features and the way he says
His voice
things.
sounds familiar.
Yeah.
I don't know that the accent sounds familiar because he could be doing one, but
Oh god, he's
oh
so
my
creepy.
goodness, that freaking cat!
As soon as we figure this out, we have to turn this off.
Yeah, we do.
Making me like I am having a panic attack.
Yeah.
Aaron probably sat down and watched this whole thing.
Oh yeah, I don't
Didn't
doubt
you?
that at
I'm
all.
sure you did because
Oh, there's a whole nother. There's another one that's called the Tailor of Panama. So. Yep.
it is.
Jude Law.
Oh my god.
On the nose.
That is so crazy.
He looks nothing like him.
Who's the cat? He's gotta just be something.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, this is scary. AF. Okay.
Wow.
That's that.
That's over, man.
Oh my god. It has 28 views. That's how many people know about this Creep Fest.
28 views for the Tailor of Gloucester, PBS 1989. That came out the year that you were born, or the year after. Sorry. Sorry, I'm thinking of Kyle, my brother.
Oh, great.
Who does not watch this podcast. I know it!
Wow.
No, I'm kidding.
Wow.
I'm kidding.
That was terrifying. I hope we ruined everyone's day. That was freaky.
That really ruined my day. I mean, really, I'm...
Yeah, me too. Oh, I feel sick now.
Yeah, I'm like starting to rethink a lot of crazy decisions, like, you know, pressing the play button on that. Woo!
There was a Nutcracker one that we watched growing up too, which was kind of similar to that, and it might have been another PBS thing. Aaron, let me know if I'm wrong. It was just the Nutcracker, but there was a lot of ballet stuff in it, and it had a lot of weird costumes similar to that.
Yeah. The weird one for me, which I'm pretty sure did not come out. I could be wrong. Actually, let's see. My grandfather had 3 watchable VHSs that weren't like, had weird like stickers on them that you'd be like, well, who knows what's on this, you know? So there was the 1928 silent film, The Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, that sounds scary.
Have you never seen that before?
No.
YouTube the trailer for that. I mean, this is what I watched it because it was one of the we're not gonna do the Party Monster trailer again. That just does not sound like a good idea. Phantom of the Opera. Opera.
1920s?
Yeah, 1925. Yeah, it's the whole thing will be on here.
Oh.
Yeah, but is there a trailer that's not an hour and 46 minutes long?
Did they do trailers back in the 20s?
Go to Unmasking and see. Yeah, do that one. This is what I watched. Put it full screen. Yeah.
Oh my god.
This is the. I watched this as a child, so you know.
Why do they get those crazy looks in their eye when it's silent?
Because they're trying to do visual acting.
This is...
That's what it is. I'll show you.
This is not okay either.
No. This is also very weird and totally. I don't know. I mean,
parents. Why did our parents live? Oh my
God! Yeah. That's what I would watch. Yeah.
No.
That was one of the three. Okay.
That is a hard no.
Okay. Second watchable movie was, I believe it was called Sisterhood 2, which was Sister Act 2 with Whoopi Goldberg. Yeah, that. And I never put that in because it just seemed like a really weird. I was like, why does this exist? Okay.
All right. So, after a long break.
Oh, that was short.
And a change in the lighting because it's a little bit later in the day. We're back.
Yeah.
And we're coming back after that horrifying Taylor of Gloucester clip, as well as the Phantom of the Opera from 1925.
Yeah, which we looked up, and it was who was the Phantom of the Opera again?
Oh shoot, I forgot already.
Very famous guy, very well known. Apparently, we can't remember his name, and it's actually incredibly disrespectful that we don't know. Let's see. It was Lon Chaney.
Yes.
Lon Chaney played the Phantom of the Opera. The Phantom?
The Phantom.
What do they call that? That's weird. But yeah, now we're coming back, and we just did a rundown of the 3 VHSs at my grandpa's house that I grew up watching.
Correct.
And one of them was unwatchable, and that was Sister Act 2. Never really had much of a desire to watch such a thing. But I watched the first one, Phantom of the Opera, and then the last one here. The last one here was, we're going to watch the trailer. This is really weird.
I'm really excited about this because I'm pretty sure it's the same one that I grew up on, and I loved this.
Really? You love this? Okay, well, I thought it was freaky.
It's the same one. We'll see.
Over the past century, there have been few stories that can truly be called a classic. One that has stood the test of time. One that has enthralled millions of children and adults alike. A story that has proven to be the most endearing and sentimental classic for generations of children. Peter Pan.
I have a place. She was great. Where dreams are born.
Yeah, she was fine. The puppets weren't. There was some weird puppet
This
things
original story by Sir James Barrie, written in 1904, was adapted as a Broadway musical by Jerome Robbins in 1954, and starred Mary Martin as Peter Pan.
Is that Mary Martin?
It was broadcast live on television in 1955 and 1956, and ultimately televised on December 8, 1960 in living color, when 21 million viewers fixed their fantasies on that familiar figure in leaf green tights.
Was it? There's a part where there's like, it might be in here.
Since then, this masterpiece has been shown only 4 other times, most recently in 1989. That showing, seen by nearly 40 million viewers, proved that the Mary Martin musical still remains the one true Peter Pan classic. Now, for the first time ever, Peter Pan will once again charm the hearts of millions of children.
Not cool.
But this time,
there's some more too. They're not the only ones.
Home video.
Yeah, there's one back on there.
Like the animals. Like the
Yeah.
giraffe and
Yeah, I didn't like
the
that.
Just learn to be a parrot. Just learn to be a parrot. And recite the silly rule. And recite a silly rule.
Just think of lovely things, and your heart.
I mean, she was great, but I did not like the costumed animals. I find that very freaky.
For generations to come, we will delight in this treasure.
No.
For as long as there are children in the world, there will always be Peter Pan.
Okay. Well, that was the other one, and whoa, that's crazy. Well, that was the last VHS, and it doesn't show it in the trailer, but the reason why I really didn't like it was because there were some costumed animals that I just thought were an abomination, and they were very scary.
Yeah, I mean, the whole puppet, adults in costume type of thing. Oh, speaking of which, can I look up something?
Yeah, no. I'll go.
This might take a second, but
that's fine. I'll go through kind of my. You know, I've always had like a problem with puppets and, you know, ventriloquism freaked me out. That's why this whole, I don't know if you know anything about furries, which, you know, furries are kind of mainstay. Oh my goodness! No!
This is terrifying also. This really gave me nightmares, no lie.
Welcome to Weezing's official YouTube channel.
I hope this is, oh my god, they have a whole YouTube channel! Yes!
No.
Oh, this is so messed up.
This is...
Have you heard? Papa's gonna buy me a mockingbird.
If that mockingbird don't sing, Papa's gonna buy me a diamond ring.
If that diamond ring don't shine, Papa's gonna buy me a fishing line. Hambone, where you been?
I've been around the world and I'm going again. Hambone.
Scared me to death.
Clowns?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, no. Nope.
Hambone, have you heard?
Papa's gonna buy me a mockingbird.
If that
Whose name is Hambone?
I don't know what that
buy me a diamond ring.
If that diamond ring don't shine,
Papa's gonna buy me a fishing line.
Hambone,
where you been?
I've been around the world and I'm going again.
That quick zoom into her face.
I know.
Scary. Yep. That's
Yeah, I've always had a problem with puppets, costumed animal. Like I've never seen cats before. What you were talking about before?
You haven't?
No, I've never. And there's a reason. Is because I saw the VHS cover and I was like, nope. I noped out of that so fast.
But that's a classic Broadway.
Yeah, I mean they revive it every once in a while and it's really good supposedly, but
no.
It's just too weird. It's the whole idea of people acting like animals.
Yeah.
And I've kind of overcome that fear. I mean, it's not really a fear, but I just think it's wrong. I think it's totally weird. It creeps me out a little bit.
Yeah.
But I just watched the movie The Island of Dr. Moreau.
Oh.
It's got Marlon Brando in it and Val Kilmer, and it's just a train wreck of a movie. Like, it's really bad. But there is some, like, really freaky stuff in there that I was just like, you know, it's about animal-human hybrids and some guy, and it's like, it was before a lot of this, like, major CGI stuff.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are dressed like that. It's wrong on, like, look it up. The Island of Dr. Moreau. Just, like, animals or something. Yeah. The Island of Dr. Moreau, and it's right there, trailer, or like, go space and put like animal or something.
Okay. Animal hospital.
No. Oh yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah, Dr. Moreau's death scene, sure. That. Yeah.
Wait, what year was this?
I would say this is probably late 80s, early 90s.
Okay.
So these people are like all dressed up like animals and stuff.
You see, I don't know why they don't do more horror movies like this, because this would scare me exponentially more than all the computer graphics they use nowadays.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very bizarre. But I watched this movie and it's like, there's this guy who doesn't have, like, from the torso down, he was like, I don't know, born, or like, it was gone. They hired him for a couple of scenes and stuff. And this movie is like,
Wow.
It's so crazy and it's so messed up. But yeah, you get the gist. I mean, they're there, they're being weird.
Yeah, that's creepy.
Yeah, you can exit out of this.
Yikes.
very, very, very messed up.
Yeah.
But what was up with the obsession of that? I mean, that's like very...
I don't know if it was necessarily the obsession. I think that's all we had. If you wanted to depict an animal, you had to have a person dress up like an animal.
True, yeah.
I mean, until you got into the weird world of like animatronics, which is also really scary. Like the whole like E.T. era.
Yep.
And that, I mean, that is also weird.
Yeah.
If anybody has been to Universal Studios on the ride, the E.T. ride, your life is probably ruined because that is the weirdest ride ever.
It smells weird. It smells weird.
Yeah,
that's the weirdest thing about it is it smells weird.
Yeah.
It
smells like the 80s probably.
Yeah, it smells like 80s mold.
It's like a time capsule. That weird, because I'm sure they haven't renovated it really. They're animatronics.
I'm sure by now it doesn't even exist, you know? It probably doesn't. They've been tearing...
went on it.
Yeah, no, recently, like what, 2000...
Last year.
Oh, last year you went on it.
When we were in Florida for my cousin's wedding, we went to Universal Studios, and we went on that ride.
Wow, because I feel like every couple months I'm getting a notification about a new part of the park opens up, and I'm like, there goes another classic thing you probably tore down.
Yeah.
So E.T. is still there. Wow.
Yep, and it's still scary.
That's so strange.
Mm-hmm.
I think the pinnacle of animatronic freakiness is Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, those...
That's a great one.
Those dead eyes.
Do they still have... obviously haven't been to a Chuck E. Cheese in at least 15 years.
I feel like I had been to one kind of somewhat recently within the last 10 maybe, but I think... Oh, you know what? I think the one I went to, and I could be remembering this completely wrong, but they had a big screen, a huge screen on the stage that used to be where Chuck E. Cheese and all of them, and Chucky was gone, and like the two people over there were gone on the stage, and they had it on the screen, but the way this Chuck E. Cheese was set up was there was this side area where there was like windows looking in, and you could see two other animatronics, and they were still there in the darkness the entire time.
Well, I mean, that's the whole thing of Five Nights at Freddy's. I mean,
it spawned a whole entire game genre
which is
of like
horrifying.
Yeah, I know, and warranted because of how weird it is.
Oh, totally. I mean, it's like those moments because back in the day when like you'd be there for birthday parties, they'd have these animatronics that obviously were just like set on the stage, and then when they were done, the show would close. The curtains would close around them. And most of the time, the curtains didn't close all the way, and you would just see some weird, creepy, in-the-dark animatronic eyes, like in the split of the curtain, like, forget
Sometimes
it.
their eyes would be moving, or they would still make movements in the dark and stuff like that. Yeah.
Not great. Not great.
No, not good at all.
So...
absolutely horrifying. That was animatronics, people dressing up like animals and other things.
Did you ever see the Goofy movie?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know there's a whole scene in that movie, too, of, like, the Possum Park place.
Oh, yeah, the
and
Possum Park,
whole, like, they totally gagged the whole animatronic thing.
Yeah.
He was, like, breaking on stage and stuff, and Max is just, like...
Yeah. Those movies are actually pretty good.
They are really good.
I think there's a second one, maybe, too, and it's not that bad, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, where he's, like, in the X Games.
Yeah, that one's, like, okay. I remember that was on the Disney Channel, but the first one was good, too.
Yeah.
Man, dude. I don't know.
Oh, so many weird...
I don't know why does this exist? I'm not really sure. Yeah, the 90s were definitely, not just 90s, but just growing up in general in that time frame was so weird, you know?
Yeah, a lot of weird stuff.
Yeah, toys, commercials.
Yeah.
Fast food.
There was a lot of weird, like, you know, in addition to baby dolls and stuff. This isn't weird. These are classic, like, some of the toys that I remember from the 90s were, like, some of the best. Like, Polly Pockets were my favorite, but Polly Pockets before they got weird and they turned into, like, yay big rubber people where you dress them in rubber clothing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That wasn't cool. Lauren got into that, my younger sister, because she was 8 years younger than me, so she kind of had, like, the later generation of Polly Pocket.
Yeah.
I don't think they make them anymore, but... they really don't make these anymore. These were...
I don't think I remember this commercial.
My favorite. I don't even remember.
Hi, I'm Polly Pocket. Let's have fun and like playhouse together.
So it's all.
That one.
Polly Pocket play cases each sold separately. New from the town.
I totally had that yellow one.
Wow. So that's like the allure is that it was like a whole play set in your pocket. I guess I never
really.
really.
Little people just are in there, and it clasps together,
Yeah.
and it's a little toy thing in your pocket. And they had tiny ones too, like something like this big.
I'm a guy. I don't really. This is not really. I had two sisters, but I just kind of blocked that stuff out of my brain, So I wasn't really familiar with, these sort of toys. But I just pocket. I'm just now putting that together. That's what that means. Because I think even if I were to go look at Polly Pockets now, I'm sure they've probably ventured away from this. You know what I'm saying? Like, is there a need for a child to carry around a toy anymore? Probably not. Like, probably something to do with, like, kids don't go anywhere anymore. They're always at home, like that sort of thing. So it's
the weird thing is, like, I don't really know how they can even justify calling it Polly Pocket still, because the generation that came after this of Polly Pocket, they were this big, and they didn't, like, fit in your pocket.
Yeah.
They had, like, little sets that were, like, this big, or they'd be, like, in a, like, deconstructed car, like, like Pound Puppies. Remember Pound Puppies?
Sure, kind of. I mean, a little bit.
I mean, yeah. So, but I remember for a while, these, like, as of recently, I remember, like, some of the first generation, probably those four there, were worth, like, actually worth a ton of money. Which, we had a couple of them, which is just really unfortunate.
That's crazy. It was losing the pieces hard at all, or?
That's the weird thing. I feel like back in the day, like, no. I mean, every once in a while you'd miss, like, if you had it we had them for years.
Yeah.
And maybe the first couple we had, we'd miss one of the girls, because they usually would come with one figure.
Yeah.
She was, like, this big.
Yeah.
And it didn't have a lot of, like, moving parts. Like, all that stuff is just built into the home.
Yeah.
There's no other piece, really, besides her. And some of the stuff might move inside, but it wouldn't come out. So it made sense.
That's
but
crazy.
I don't think kids nowadays are responsible enough to keep track of a figurine that's, like, half an inch tall.
I doubt it.
Or they choke on it or whatever. And kids are eating Tide Pods nowadays, so.
Hey, I mean, that sounds like... what was my... speaking of Polly Pocket, like, my kind of toy growing up was... The kind of version of that was those little green army men.
Oh, like just a straight up...
Yeah,
like,
that you stand up and do all that.
That had, like, parachutes
Yeah,
and stuff?
and what was the best thing to do growing up was blowing them up with firecrackers. That was so fun. And shooting them. And guess what? I know, you're giving me that look. It used to be socially acceptable until that darn Toy Story movie came out and demonized all of us for doing it. So there was this negative connotation that you're blowing up real life things. And, I stopped doing it because I was like, this is kind of shady. Like, this doesn't look good. But it was fun. And, like, I wouldn't necessarily blow them up because blowing them up was, but I give them battle damage. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'd be like, he's a little burned. Or, like, I take a Roman candle and shoot it at him and be like, one was hit. Or, like, all these things. Like, and then, like, Sid ruined it for all of us, and now we have to live with the consequences, and I couldn't do it anymore. I wasn't allowed to do it anymore. See, that was kind of my version of Polly Pocket plus explosive.
Did you have one of these? Because this was one of my favorite toys ever.
Did I have one of these? What? Talk boy. No, I always wanted one of these.
I had a Talk Girl. It was pink and purple.
You can have lots of high-tech fun with Tiger's Talk Boy tape recorder.
Hey, stop drooling on me. Hey, stop drooling on me.
I remember this cursed commercial, though.
Hi, kids. We're home early.
With replaceable batteries, there's no end to the fun.
Wow.
Hey, there's someone in the house.
Wait, what? This can't be the real commercial.
No. This is... see, hold on. Press pause real quick.
That's amazing, though.
That was a great extended commercial. See, I could tell because I was going to say at the end of this, I was like, that is totally a commercial that's trying to. First of all, it's not a box format, thing. But Yeah, what was really funny about that, I was like, I could tell that it was trying to be a 90s commercial. That's what it was trying to be. But you know what's a really weird trope that I'm just remembering now, along with all the weird, like, goofiness and, like, crazy and, like, far out?
Yeah.
Top Boy Deluxe commercial. That's probably the one you want to go
probably.
with. And is terrorizing your sister.
Yeah.
That was, like, a thing. Like, back then, they were like, oh, if you wanted to do ridiculous things to your sister, here's this awesome tool to do that. And it's like, what? Like,
I know. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Here's a tool to become a crappy kid. Like,
but I mean, we would do fake talk shows on this thing.
Yeah.
We would, because you could, like, do, speed up people's voices, or you could slow them down. That's why, so, like, that was a huge deal.
Oh, yeah.
And all you needed was a cassette and some batteries, and you could just go to town. Like,
I know.
It was so cool.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Let's look at this bad boy.
This
looks cool. This is the one they based it off of.
My bad.
With tigers, talk
No.
tape recorder.
Hey,
Tiger, that was
ruling
Grant.
on me. Hey, stop ruling on me.
It even has speed control.
Hi, kids, we're home early.
Wow.
95.
Hi, kids, we're home early.
Sounds like a creeper.
Yeah.
Batteries not included.
So weird.
Yeah, Tiger was an electronics brand. I think I remember them making like little handheld games and stuff like that. You know?
Yeah.
Something like that.
They came up with a lot of weird, Did you ever, well, I guess Tiger didn't make Tamagotchis though, right?
No, I'm assuming that was like,
Or what was the other one called? Gigapet.
Gigapet. I'm assuming those are both Japanese companies.
Yeah, that's probably
I would put my money on that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't... terrorizing your sister was like... That was a selling point for most toys back then.
Yeah.
Like the goop and the splat and like all that stuff. They were like, oh yeah, have you ever wanted to get stuff in your sister's hair? It's like...
No, it's like, what?
Why would you do that?
Again, it's just like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
have you ever wanted to become an abusive brother? It's like, whoa, chill, pump the brakes, man.
And they always depicted your parents to be super lame and annoying.
Yeah.
It's just weird, the marketing.
Yeah, they'd be like, are you tired of your lame parents? And they'd be like going through like the newspaper and they're like,
I know.
It's like...
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, we kind of played to that in our opening of this. So
oh, yeah, I know.
It's so, like, you know.
Oh.
God, that was just the way to do it.
Exactly. I don't know, man. Classic. The good and the bad. We gotta make this a recurring segment.
Yeah.
We gotta come back to this. There's a lot of stuff we didn't get to talk about.
I know. I think we talked more on stuff that Macaulay Culkin wasn't a planned topic.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah. I think there's just so much to talk about as far as like growing up.
Such a dinge. So this will be part one. Of like the, and we'll eventually. We're not gonna immediately make it back to this, but we'll eventually get back to it and have a lot of talking points that we can actually execute instead of talking about Macaulay Culkin for 25 minutes.
Get so distracted.
Yeah, but that's good though. I mean, that's like that's part of the podcast game. We just gotta make stuff up and talk about dead celebrity or like old school celebrity, child actors. That's what they do, right?
It's true.
So not dead.
He's not dead.
He's alive.
Yeah,
he's alive. I think as far as like dead kid actors, like really it's only River Phoenix was the only one, right? I mean, it's kind of like 80s though.
What do you mean only one?
Oh yeah, I guess I forget about the girl who did the voice of Ducky in Land Before Time. I remember her.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly.
I remember River Phoenix. That's the only ones that I can really think of off the top of my head. There's a lot of child actors that went off the rails and are not doing super great right now. But as far as like mortality and stuff like that, like yeah, I
don't know, maybe.
I guess they came pretty. There's just a couple of people that came a little close and just like everybody was worried about for a while, So
Macaulay Culkin,
Amanda Bynes.
What is that guy's name? That was from Stand By Me also.
Lindsay Lohan.
Oh, yeah.
Stand By Me.
Wasn't he in Stand By Me also?
Oh.
I mean, he's really been through a lot of stuff. But
that guy.
you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
He was in like everything back in the 80s.
I don't remember his name, which is unfortunate because that'd make this easier.
Yeah.
But one quick little Google search here, and we can. What do you want to bet if I put an 80s kid actor, he'll come up right with that?
Probably.
80s kid actor.
Oh,
his friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. His friend is Corey Haim, but it's Corey Feldman.
Yeah.
The two Corys, Corey Feldman. Yeah. He's last I heard of Corey Feldman, aside from him doing his currently, was he came out with a couple of albums, maybe just one, and I heard it is awful. It's just the worst thing ever.
Speaking of childhood actors that I don't think he technically was a child though. What was the name of that guy who people he played only kids because I think he had some type of disease where his growth was stunted, and I think he
Andy Milonakis?
No. He died of kidney failure or something like that.
His name's Corey too.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was thinking of him.
His name is Corey too.
What was the name of that show that he was in? Not Growing Pains, right?
Was it Jefferson's Growing Pains?
Not the Jeffersons.
No, that's not. That's Corey Haim. It's different. He's Corey Feldman's friend.
There's too many Corys in Hollywood.
Was he the one who did who always had that catchphrase where he was like
was that the same guy? Are you talking about Willis? Maybe.
Yeah, what you talking about, Willis?
What was the name of that show?
I have no idea. I mean, at this point it's going terribly, but the search for this, because I'm powering through and it's just not.
Gary Coleman.
Gary, Corey, I mean, come on.
Different Strokes.
Different Strokes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember him. Yep. What you talking about, Willis? Yeah, that's the guy.
Didn't he had some?
Yeah, I believe he had some sort of.
We're gonna look it up on Wikipedia for a half second.
Yes. Yep.
He died of
epidural hematoma. Wow.
Never mind.
Yikes. That's not good. Focal segmental.
Oh no, a congenital chronic kidney disease. So I knew there was something in there. But...
Oh, okay. He's from Zion, Illinois, right outside Chicago. Represent.
He underwent 2 unsuccessful kidney transplants in 73 and 84, and required frequent dialysis. Wow.
Well, that's not a good life.
That sucks.
People on dialysis, man.
Oh god. Okay.
That's not fun. That's not fun. We gotta start manufacturing, start growing kidneys in labs, man. When we start figuring that out, we're gonna become a real deal of species, you know?
That's like a totally different. Totally.
Let's switch topics to growing human organs and muscle tissue for 400. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess we'll wrap up then, right?
Yeah. I think so.
How's yours? Do you wanna?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
I didn't turn the screen around.
You didn't turn the screen around. Well, you know what?
Didn't.
I guess we'll both send everybody out. This has been the first Car Ride Convos grounded podcast.
Yes.
Went relatively well. I enjoyed it. I like the dense topics, and I love the fact that we're we're gonna keep it serious. And it's I'm sorry, we can only be so serious. It's very difficult, not easy.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll purposely make an entire. We'll make one topic that's just impossible Like, we can make some, like, kind of edgy, like, kind of humor, but not... yeah, but nothing, like...
Yeah.
Nothing crazy. Maybe we can bust one of those out.
Okay, we'll figure it out.
Think of the most depressing thing we can talk about in the next thing, and write it down in the comments, and...
Please don't do that.
Don't. Okay, don't, because I won't... I won't I won't honor your request, okay? I won't.
Oh, God. Alright, time to go.
I can hear it now from the comment section. The Holocaust!
Watch the rest of the Taylor Gloucester!
9/11!
Stop!
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, well, it's been fun.
It's been fun. It's been fun. It's been a good day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun working on this format. We're going to get it under control and get all the technical stuff ironed out.
We always say that. It may or may not happen, but we try.
I know, I'm excited.
We do try.
But yeah, look forward to seeing these kind of sporadically.
Trying something new.
Yeah, we're trying something new, and it's fun. Enjoy it.
Fun.
Yeah. Well, that wraps it up. We will see you in the next episode.
Sounds good.
Car Ride Convos or Car Ride Convos Podcast Grounded Edition.
Yep.
Grounded Edition. Right?
Yeah.
Grounded. All right.
Bye.